My son tried to poison me for money. I called 911. At a family dinner with my boy Jason and his wife Ashley. Our first real truce after too many months of silence. My phone lit up with a text from a number I didn't know. Get up and go. Now. Don't say a word to your son. I don't know why, but I listened. What I learned froze my scalp and made the hairs stand up. Half an hour later, cops were knocking on their front door. You're not going to believe where this went. Quick thing before we dive in. Tap subscribe and tell me in the comments where you're listening from. Dish soap bubbles clung to my beat-up hands while I scrubbed Linda's favorite coffee cup for the third time this week. Same drill every night. One plate, one fork, one mug. Evidence of another meal eaten alone. The kitchen sounded too big without her humming at the stove or her gentle nagging about newspapers strewn across the table. I dried the cup and set it in the rack where it always went, like a little memorial to better days. The fridge hummed to itself, covered in faded photos held up by random magnets. My eyes landed on a picture of Jason at his high school graduation, 17, grinning in cap and gown, Linda's arm hooked around his shoulders. That was before the blow-ups, before the money, before the quiet that lasted a year. The phone rang with a shrill, old-school scream that sliced through my thoughts. With wet hands, I fumbled for the dish towel and lifted the wall phone. The receiver felt cold in my palm. I squinted at the caller ID through my readers and felt my breath catch. Jason. For a second my body just stalled. 12 months of not speaking stretched between us like open water. Last time we'd talked, he'd stormed out when I refused to bankroll his investment. Linda always knew how to handle him. She always had the words I didn't. Hello. My voice came out rougher than I meant. Dad. Jason sounded like the kid who used to break things and wait to see if he was in big trouble. It's me. I gripped the phone tighter, heart thudding hard. Jason, I wasn't expecting. I know. It's been, he paused, breathing audible. Too long. Way too long. I sank into the armchair Linda had insisted on buying because it helped my back. The leather was worn smooth from evening news and Sunday crossword puzzles. How are you, son? I'm good. Really good. Ashley and I were talking, and we realized how much we miss having you around. We miss family. That word hovered between us like something delicate. Family. What we used to be before pride and dollars built walls. I miss it too, I heard myself admit. Dad, would you come to dinner tonight? Ashley's making that pot roast you always loved. We could talk, really talk, like we used to. I looked at the photo on my side table. Me, Linda, Jason, and Ashley at their wedding 5 years back, before everything came apart. Linda always said time gives families a way back to each other. Tonight, I asked surprised. I know it's short notice, but Ashley's already cooking, and we're done wasting time. Something tender in his voice tugged at me, the same weakness he had when storms scared him as a kid. Maybe Linda had been right. Maybe we could heal. What time? 7:30. I'll text the address. We moved to Montclair last year. Montclair, pricey. Jason had always chased big dreams. I'll be there. Dad. His voice softened. Thanks for giving us another shot. After we hung up, I sat in the dusk holding that family photo. Linda's smile looked up at me, and I could almost hear her say, "It's time, Frank. Go home." The quiet after the dial tone felt different, charged with possibility, not emptiness. I set the frame down and stood with a purpose I hadn't felt in months. Tonight could be the turn. Tonight, I might get my son back. Upstairs, our room felt like a museum. Linda's perfume bottles still lined her dresser, dust dancing in the late light through lace curtains. I dug past everyday shirts and tired sweaters until my fingers found the navy suit in the plastic bag. Linda had surprised me with it for Jason's graduation. "You need something nice for important days," she'd said, smoothing the lapels. "Our boy graduating counts." I laid it on the bed and unwrapped it slow. That suit had seen interviews, anniversaries, and Linda's funeral. Tonight, it had new duty. Hot shower, shave. In the mirror, a hopeful old guy stared back. When did I get this many lines? The gray at my temples had marched forward. Would Jason notice? Would Ashley see the loneliness? Linda's perfume, Chanel No. 5, rested on the counter where she left it. I touched the bottle, then chose my own aftershave. Some memories are too sacred to borrow. Dressed, I checked the fit, still good, maybe a little loose. I grabbed a nice bottle of aged whiskey as a peace offering, something to bridge old hurts and new hopes. Jason's text buzzed in. 247 Elmwood Drive, Montclair. Can't wait, Dad. I ordered an Uber, fingers hovering a second over the address. Montclair was 40 minutes away and a world apart from my modest Brooklyn block. 8 minutes to pick up, the app said. At the window, brownstones melted into evening shadows. Mrs. Parker from next door waved from her stoop. I waved back, feeling lighter than I had in a long time. Maybe tonight would change everything. The Uber pulled up on time. The driver chatted about the weather as we pulled out. Brooklyn clicked over to highways, then to perfect suburbs. Lawns got cleaner, houses got bigger, driveways stretched like runways. By New Jersey, I was staring at places 6 families like mine could share. Montclair's gorgeous, the driver said, noticing my face. Plenty of successful folks. I'm visiting my son, I said, pride fighting with a little confusion over how Jason managed all this. Lucky man, the driver said. Lucky indeed, I thought, though a small knot of worry formed. How did Jason afford it? We stopped in front of a magazine house, stone columns, manicured topiaries, a fountain in a circular drive. A Mercedes and a BMW sat like trophies. This is it, the driver said cheerfully. My hands shook a little as I tipped him. The heavy oak door swung open before I could press the bell. A middle-aged woman stood there in a crisp black dress that said housekeeper. Kind eyes. A flicker of something, concern, was there and gone. Mr. Walker, she said warmly, stepping aside. I'm Rosa. Mr. Jason and Miss Ashley are thrilled you're here. The foyer made my whole apartment look like a closet. Marble floors, curved staircase, crystal chandeliers, real oil paintings, fresh flowers. Dad, Jason's voice boomed as he walked in looking like a magazine ad. Expensive suit, sharp haircut, white smile. He hugged me hard, almost desperate. You look great, he said, eyes bright but tight. Ashley glided in like she'd floated out of a commercial. Silk dress, perfect makeup, understated but pricey jewelry. She kissed my cheek. Frank, you look wonderful. We're so happy you made it. This place is incredible, I said. How do you? Real estate. Jason cut in, laugh a bit too bright. Right place, right time. Ashley took my arm. Come get settled. Rosa, could you take Mr. Walker's coat? I handed it over, my best jacket suddenly feeling shabby. I brought this, I said, offering the whiskey. Jason's face lit up. Dad, this is fantastic. He clapped my shoulder, enthusiasm a notch too high. Ashley's been cooking all day. Pot roast, your favorite. Funny, how would Ashley know that? We'd barely shared meals. But her smile was warm, and I pushed the thought away. Family takes care of family, she said smoothly. Jason led us through rooms that belonged in a catalog. Wealth everywhere. I kept thinking about the son who'd needed a loan a year ago. The dining room was something out of a period drama. Mahogany table, chandelier, china that glowed, silver that gleamed. Pot roast aromas drifted from a kitchen that was probably bigger than my place. This is beautiful, I said. We want a night to be special, Ashley said. A fresh start. Jason pulled my chair with practiced ease. I wished Linda could see this. The success, the chance at reconnection. Maybe she'd be proud. The table settings were art. Crystal glasses throwing rainbows, linen napkins folded like origami, more forks than any one person needs. Incredible, I murmured. Jason beamed. Only the best for family reunions, right, Dad? Ashley sat to my left. Jason to my right. Felt intentional, like they wanted a front row seat to my reactions. Rosa appeared quietly with delicate appetizers. Jason cracked the whiskey and poured heavy into crystal tumblers. This calls for a toast. To family, Ashley said, smiling. To forgiveness and fresh starts, Jason added. And to Mom. Linda would want us together. The whiskey warmed me. Linda always said a good drink loosens tongues and hearts. Tonight, I wondered what she'd make of all this show. Tell us about the restaurants, Ashley asked, leaning in. Jason says you built an empire from scratch. Empire's a stretch, I said, taking another sip. Just a lot of work and treating people right. Linda always said employees are family and customers are friends. Don't sell yourself short, Jason said, refilling my glass before I noticed it was empty. 7 locations is no joke. Rosa set down soup, lobster bisque, in porcelain that probably needed its own insurance. Her hands shook a little. Ever think about retiring? Ashley asked, slicing bread like a surgeon. Slowing down, The places keep me busy, I said, strangely relaxed. Every one of them has Linda's touch. Jason and Ashley exchanged a look. You know the kind married couples have. Ashley's cool fingers brushed my hand. But you can't work forever, Jason pressed gently. Have you made plans? Legal stuff, succession? Oddly specific question. The whiskey made it feel harmless. One day at a time, son. Rosa brought out the main course, pot roast that smelled exactly like Linda's. How did Ashley nail it? This is perfect, I told her. I wanted tonight to feel like home, she said, smiling a little too perfectly. Jason bragged about real estate deals, careful not to give details. Ashley asked about margins, leases, property values. The curiosity felt intense. The room got warmer. My head felt lighter than it should have after 2 glasses. Good food, good company, I told myself. Jason kept checking his watch. Ashley tracked my glass like a bartender. Rosa dropped a fork. Something scratched at the back of my mind, but thinking felt muddy. I stood to grab my phone. Let me show you our new Queens location. My pocket buzzed. Unknown number, local area code. It buzzed again. Everything okay? Jason asked, too eager. Just an unfamiliar number, I said, shielding the screen. The text popped up in bold caps. Stand up and leave. Now. Say nothing to your son. Cold washed through me. The elegant room tilted. Maybe the whiskey, maybe adrenaline. I read it twice. Same message. Same urgency. Frank. Ashley's voice was sugar with a steel core. You look pale. I'm fine. I lied, sliding the phone away. Rich food. Maybe some air. Water. Ashley nodded toward Rosa, who already moved. You sure? Jason studied me like a hawk. You went white for a second. I'm sure. Another lie. Bathroom. Second door on the left, he said. We'll wait. Rosa's bringing dessert. I stood carefully. The hallway stretched ahead, lined with expensive art. Left would have been the powder room. I kept going, straight to the kitchen. Rosa stood at an enormous sink, washing crystal like it was surgery. She didn't turn, didn't speak. Her shoulders tightened as I passed. The back door was right there, dark garden, motion lights, a gate to the street. Freedom. I slipped out. Dewy grass slicked my shoes. The gate opened onto a quiet street of mansions. I tapped for a ride 1 block away. 5 minutes to pick up. 5 minutes to decide if I was paranoid or sane. The car's headlights appeared. I climbed in, gave my Brooklyn address, and called the unknown number. 2 rings. A careful voice. I hoped you'd call. Who is this? Why warn me? I can't say who I am. You were in immediate danger. That's ridiculous. I was at dinner with my son. A pause. Then, your son owes $2, $3 million to very dangerous people. The driver glanced at me in the mirror. I gripped the phone. He lives in a mansion, I said weakly. He borrowed against everything. Underground casinos, high-stakes poker, sports betting. He has 11 days. And the warning? The whiskey you brought was drugged with zetrasolum. It multiplies alcohol's effects, makes you suggestible. My mind flashed through the night. Jason pushing the bottle open, Ashley topping off my glass, their pointed questions. Legal papers are ready, the voice went on. Transfer of your businesses. Power of attorney. All they needed was your signature. How do you know this? Doesn't matter. What matters is you left before you signed. Zetrasolum plus alcohol can cause memory gaps. They'd say you did it willingly. I thought about Ashley's performance, Jason's timing, every refill. My son wouldn't, the sentence died. The deadline is in 11 days, the voice said gently. Why help me? Because it's wrong. Because you deserve to know. I suddenly knew who I was talking to. Rosa. She'd seen everything. She'd warned me at great risk. Thank you, I whispered. Don't thank me yet. They'll realize you're gone. He's desperate. What do I do? Protect yourself. Call your lawyer. Lock down accounts. Change routines. Jason knows your habits. 3 missed calls from Jason flashed on my screen. Will you testify? I can't. But the truth leaks out when people tug the right threads. The call ended. The car rolled toward Brooklyn. City lights smeared the windows. A text popped in from Jason. Dad? Where are you? We're worried. I stared at it and deleted it. The man who sent that text planned to empty my life while I was half conscious. Brooklyn Bridge up ahead, the driver said softly. Still going home? I looked at the skyline and then at the open route back to Montclair. Safety lay ahead. But if I stayed gone, they'd try this on me again, or someone else. I pulled Linda's wedding photo from my wallet, edges worn smooth. She'd never chosen comfort over what's right. She wouldn't run, I said. Everything okay back there? The driver asked. Actually, no. I straightened. I need to make a call and then change the destination. I dialed 911. 2 rings. What's your emergency? My family is trying to poison me for money, I said, hearing how insane it sounded. I have evidence, and they're still at the house with prepared documents. Sir, are you in immediate danger? Not in the car. But please send officers to 247 Elmwood Drive, Montclair. I'm going back to secure evidence. Officers en route. ETA 20 minutes. Sir, do not return until. I understand, I said. Linda's photo looked me in the eye. But they'll destroy everything if I don't. I told the driver. Back to Montclair. You sure? You seem upset. Sometimes you pick between safe and right, I said. The ride back felt different. Less fog, more steel. We turned onto Hill Street, just as unmarked police cars rolled in the other direction. My heart pounded. I asked the driver to wait around the corner. The doorbell echoed like a bell at a hanging. Quick footsteps approached. Jason yanked the door open, relief and suspicion fighting on his face. Dad, where were you? We were worried sick. Sorry, son, I said, keeping my tone easy. Needed some air. Got a little dizzy. Dizzy? His eyes sharpened. You were gone nearly half an hour. Ashley appeared, dress wrinkled from pacing. Her mask slipped, panic flashing. Frank, you scared us. Much better now, I said, letting her guide me in. Her grip held a shade too long. Maybe it was the wine? Ashley laughed too brightly. Let's get you water. Actually, I'd like to sit back down. The dining room looked tidied in a rush. Anything that might have been paper was gone. Rosa moved in the background, hands tighter than before. Hope you don't mind, Ashley said. We cleaned a bit. Very thoughtful, I said, wondering where they'd hidden the forms. Jason drummed his fingers, a nervous tic from childhood. Feeling good now? No more confusion? Clear as a bell. I smiled. Great, Ashley said. We've got so much to catch up on. Jason stood and went to the liquor cabinet. One more toast before we end the night. His hands shook barely as he poured fresh glasses. He lingered over mine, adding just a hair more. The liquid caught the light a little different. You know, I said casually, I've been thinking about the day you were born. Dad, that's sweet, but let's toast first, he said, bringing the glasses. I watched a faint sediment swirl in mine. His looked crystal clear. This is important, I said, lifting the glass to examine its color. Your mom was in labor 14 hours. Frank, Ashley said tightly from behind me, hands pressing my shoulders. Family stories are better with a sip. Some things can't be rushed, I said. Under the chandelier, tiny flecks danced in the amber. You've been talking 10 minutes, Jason snapped lightly. Whiskey's getting warm. Time flies, I said, still not drinking. You were just 6 pounds, but had a grip like a vice. Ashley moved behind me, voice sweetness edged with panic. Let's toast to Jason's birth. Stubbornness, I said, can be a virtue or a vice. I looked at my son. Your mother worried which way you'd choose. Silence. The clink of dishes in the kitchen. Too quick, hard knocks at the front. Police. Open up. Jason dropped his glass. It shattered on marble. Red and blue washed the walls as officers stepped in with measured authority. Jason Walker, the senior one, said, You're under arrest for attempted poisoning, conspiracy to commit fraud, and elder abuse. You have the right to remain silent. This is insane, Jason sputtered. My dad's confused. Frank, tell them, Ashley pleaded. It's a misunderstanding. I stood, holding up my untouched glass. The flecks were plain as day. There's zetrasolum in here, I said calmly. My son poured it to get me to sign away my businesses. A younger cop took the glass with gloves, raising it to the light. The particles glittered like gilt. Attempted poisoning carries 8 to 12 years, the senior officer said. Conspiracy and elder abuse add time. Jason's knees wobbled. 12 years. The loan sharks will kill me in 11 days. Stop talking, Ashley hissed. You had choices, I said quietly. You chose this. Ashley Walker, the junior officer said. You're under arrest as a co-conspirator. No. She clutched the table's edge. He forced me. I was scared. Ma'am, the officer said evenly. We have evidence you researched the drug and planned the meal. They led them toward the door. Jason spun for one last swing. Dad, how could you do this? Mom would be heartbroken. Your mother loved the truth, I said. She'd never forgive tonight. Rosa stepped out, professional mask slipping into a sad, satisfied look. The house fell quiet after doors slammed and engines faded. I stood in that expensive room, thinking of Linda's hand on my shoulder. Crystal shards lay in a puddle of poisoned whiskey like a warning. My phone buzzed, a text from the senior officer. Processing will take 2 to 3 hours. We'll need your statement. At the station, life rolled on. DUIs, domestic calls, and my family's case. Jason and Ashley sat in separate holding cells, designer clothes clashing with gray walls. Through the glass, I watched Jason pace, glancing at me, face cycling through anger and pleading. Mr. Walker, said Detective Collins, setting down his coffee, walk me through Zetra Solem again. How'd you know? Anonymous tip, I said. They knew details. Any idea who? I thought of Rose's steady hands. No. Ashley's sobs bled through from the women's cells. This is all Jason's fault, she wailed. Detective Collins made notes. We found prepped legal docs in his office. POA, transfers, all of it. How long will they do? I asked. Attempted poisoning is 8 to 12. With conspiracy and elder abuse, Jason could see 15 to 20. Ashley less if she cooperates. I glanced at my son, crumpled on a bench. Dad, he suddenly yelled. I'll pay it back. I'll get help. Sir, Collins said, he'll keep trying to work you. It's what happens in family money cases. I know, I said. Linda always said I was too soft. Not your fault, he said gently. He's grown. 3 hours later, my statement signed, I stood in the lobby with a patrolman waiting to drive me home. I dialed the number that saved me. This is Rosa Martinez, came the warm voice, no longer disguised. Are you okay, Mr. Walker? Rosa, I said, relief loosening my chest. You were right there the whole time, and you still saved me. I couldn't let them hurt you, she said softly. You treated me like a person. Tears surprised me. First since Linda's funeral, and not from pain, but gratitude. How did you know about the drug in the papers? 3 days ago, I was cleaning Jason's office. They talked like I didn't exist. I heard everything. Dose, food, where to hide the documents. Ashley researched your favorite meals and routines. You risked your job for a stranger? Not a stranger, she said. A good man who says please and thank you. The officer gestured toward the door. One more minute. I mouthed. Rosa, I asked, do you have another job lined up? No, sir. Doubt they'll give references. I own restaurants, I said. I need a manager I can trust at the new Crown Heights spot. Someone with your backbone. She went quiet. You don't have to. This isn't charity. It's a hire. 60 to start, health, profit share after a year, full training. A soft sob. Yes, sir. Ah, yes. Monday, 10 a.m. I'll train you myself. We swapped details and I promised help with paperwork if she needed it. I hung up lighter than I'd felt in months. Back home, the fridge held family photos. Jason at different ages. Ashley at the wedding, Linda smiling. I took Jason's off the door, not in the trash, but into a drawer. Ashley's too. Linda stayed right where she belonged. On the calendar, I wrote, Rosa, 10 a.m. Monday. Then, under it, new beginning. Brooklyn hummed outside with honest work. Night shift folks heading in, early birds up already. Linda always believed the best people do the right thing when no one's watching. Rosa proved her right. Detective Collins texted one last time. Both suspects charged. August trial. Your testimony's key. I turned off the lights and headed upstairs. Tomorrow would bring plenty. Tonight, Justice had a chair at my table. In the bedroom, Linda's perfume still sat on the dresser. Love, I realized, sometimes means protecting the people you love most, from outsiders, and sadly, from your own. If this story caught you, hit like, subscribe, and tell me what you felt in the comments. Want another? Tap the box on the left. Thanks for listening.